All right, we still need to do 11, D, 6A, and 7. Okay, so 6A, the SD is computed for the ages of all the wives and the wives whose husbands are 20 and 30 years old. So um, we're going back to that same figure 9. So the SD is computed for the ages of all the wives and the wives whose husbands are 20 to 30 years old. So we could either have the, but they're not ages, right? They're education levels. For the, oh, wrong way. Okay. So we're looking over here. This is years of school. If we computed the SD for all of the wives and the SDs for the wives whose husbands are 20 to 30 years old, which one is going to be bigger? So if we took the SD of every woman out there who's married, and then we calculated the SD, or we looked at the men who are 20 to 30 and then took the SD of their wives, which one is expected to be bigger? The first one is a lot bigger. Now, do some men between 20 and 30 have older wives? Probably, but not as many. Right? You're probably not going to see any 20 to 30-year-olds married to a 70-year-old. Although, about 10 years ago, the last widow of a Civil War veteran died. When was the Civil War? 1860s. 1860 to 1865. The last widow of a Civil War veteran died 10 or so years ago. Or maybe it was 12, I don't remember. So what happened was, he was in his 80s in the late 1800s, and he married a woman who was like his nurse, not niece. No, she took care of him when he was old, and they fell in love and they got married. And so she lived till she was like 80 or 90. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he fought in the war when he was young, and then he married really late in his life to a super young woman, and then she died a long time later. So anyway, it happens. He wasn't married very long, no. All right, and 7. In one study of identical male twins, the average height was found to be around about 68 inches and the SD of 3. The correlation between the heights of the twins was about 0.95, and the scatter diagram was football-shaped. You have to guess the height of one of the twins without any further information. What method would you use? The average. Piece of cake. Find the RMS error for the method in A. If you guess the average, how far off do you expect to be? Well, because they're twins, this is going to be 68 with an SD of 3. The other one has to be the same. 68 with an SD of 3. Because which twin is on the x-axis? It doesn't matter. We don't really know, right? So we need to take 3 and times it by 0.1 minus 0.95 squared, and then take the square root. Times the square root of 1 minus 0.95 squared. So 0.93. Does that surprise you? Okay. If I randomly guess how tall one of the twins is, I'm expected to be off by 3 inches. If I know the first twin, how accurately can I guess the height of the second twin? Within an inch. Does that make sense? Why is that number so much smaller than 3? Because the R value is so high. Our predictions are very accurate because if you know one, you almost know the other. You know the other within an inch. Okay, one twin of the pair is standing in front of you. You have to guess the height of the other twin. What method would you use? You'd use the regression line. Okay, you measure him and then use the regression line. And then find the RMS error for the method in C. Would be the same, right? It's the same as the one that's in B. All right, now we're done.